All right, it is currently 11:49 a.m. What you're listening to is amplified audible activity. That is the demon possessed who are monitoring using the sound of what is a weed whacker. Okay, and that's occurring under the specific environment. Hi, that's Jose and Sons facilitating a government's ability to monitor me. And Jose and Sons is nothing other than a commercial means that's identifying what's the same exact condition. These are demons affiliated with a company that is facilitating federal group stalking and monitoring. And that is because nothing about the environment changes, nothing about the behavior changes, all right, nothing about the hallmarks change. And I'm using this time with regard to acknowledging time of year analysis, duration of time analysis, meaning that while the light source remains from beginning to the end of the day, the analysis relevant to the engineered light which you're looking at. Okay, so that's how you're understanding what is a demon. They can hold a weed whacker, they can hold a package, they can hold food, they can hold a baby. Okay, it does not matter what it is that they're holding, it's the same exact P.O.C. And at 11:49 a.m., this is while we're in what is called daylight savings time, which is entirely, it's a farce, okay? Daylight savings time, in other words, I won't even address that. But I mean, actually, you can either regard it or disregard it. I'm letting you know about what's going on in the state of Florida while I'm showing you what's remaining over me in Southern California. So, if you think that there's some other natural environment that exists while I'm showing you what is clearly an unnatural environment, then that's fine. You can do that. You're free to do that. You are disregarding hard facts that you are being faced with, though I'll let you know that. At 11:49, we're in daylight savings time. I'm referencing documentation captured in February 2022. And the entity is keeping a light source over me in Ontario, California. The same exact Ontario, California, where the sun was rising over me, and I also captured at over 12 hours later at 7 in the evening, the light source is setting in alignment to me. At the same exact intersection, I even captured that, which is at Holt Boulevard and Euclid Avenue, feet away from the same exact intersection. And I've shown you on Google Maps so that you can, this is all information that's readily available, but I want the ordinary person that's witnessing and observing what I'm documenting, I want you to understand the details, because I know you might not go to that extent to understand the details. The Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library is feet away, literally across the street from the intersection of Holt Boulevard and Euclid Avenue, where the entity is rising a light source over me as I was at the Ontario Museum of History and Arts, while I'm at the intersection of Holt Boulevard and Euclid Avenue in Ontario. And then you have what is feet away as I go to a library that's at that same intersection. It's right there feet away, so you're talking about the same location where the entity is maintaining a light source. So where the light source is rising, and you also see Ontario PD group stalking in that venue. They're group stalking with the people of the state, just like they are now with Jose and Sons. These are a bunch of demons who are walking all around in relevant position. The state's amplifying plane activity, the sound of a weed whacker's audible activity, and that ongoing motion of movement in the engineered light. These are demons that are patrolling all around me, monitoring. Okay, and they're doing it in close proximity. The Los Angeles Police Department, these are a demon-possessed agency that are monitoring to this activity creation that surrounds me in a specific environment. And what I'm reminding you about is at 10:49 a.m. in February of 2022. So I'm giving you what is literally irrelevant. Why is it irrelevant? Because the entity is engaging what is outside of the parameters of anything natural occurring. Okay, so you can give an hour or take away an hour. The entity is remaining with a light source. Nonetheless, in February of 2022 at 10:49 a.m., that's why I'm using during daylight savings time at 11:49 a.m. So this would be the same time, okay? This is in daylight savings time, so this is 10:49, but for daylight savings time, and you are seeing the exact same impossibility. The maintenance of a light source squarely over my head, over my apartment building, and what did I take pictures of? I want you to pay attention to not only what I've taken pictures of, but what I've taken video of. The entity is maintaining this light source over the front of my apartment at this time. That's exactly what I took pictures of while I am standing at the front door of my apartment. I cannot see what's over the front edge of my apartment from the back of my apartment. This is the back. That's my bedroom up there. This is where the entity is setting this same light source. It's 11 right now. Let's count, because I want you to count. Let's count together. 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours later, the entity is engaging in keeping this light source, which is supposed to be the sun, in alignment to this window over this building, where you saw the moon over this building. No, that's not the sun. And as I'm referencing the same location, the Ovitt Family Community Library at 215 East C Street in Ontario, California, feet away from that same exact intersection. In other words, in Ontario, there will never be any light source at the same time, because this is during daylight savings time, 11:49, and what I'm documenting is at 10:49 before daylight savings time. So we're talking about what's supposed to be the same exact time, right? Give or take an hour. And I'm showing you what is totally irrelevant, because the light source doesn't go anywhere. And common sense is also letting you know. How do you also know this? The light source was just over the front of my apartment. I stood out the front door. I took a picture of the sky space above my front door. This is not over my front door. I cannot see this over my front door. This is real-time movement of a light source, and that's also how you know that they're demons. All right, you're witnessing the people of the state who are demons, group stalking while they are molesting my person. The demon possessed are violent sex offenders, and they're engaging in what is targeting you through that light activity while they are stalking by crossing path. That's what group stalking is. Group stalkers want to touch you routinely. They're going to be prosecuted as sex offenders. There is no sun that will be over the Ovid Family Community Library like I'm present, like you see in video at 10:49 a.m. before daylight savings time. And you're also looking at it while it's here at Alvarado Gardens at 1806 North Alvarado Street in Los Angeles, California, hovering now over the back of my apartment instead of over the front of my apartment like you see in the still images. And you also see light strewed across the ceiling inside of my apartment. That's how you know they're demons. All right, the entity is engaged in all manner of what is amplified audible activity. That's audible activity, light activity, the presence of the light source, which is a hallmark, the stalking conduct of the entity. You just saw LAPD freaking out on camera again, direct evidence against the people of the state. That's how you know the LAPD. It's the exact same condition pursuant to the same criminal system. Okay, those are demons flying in helicopters, and that's very disturbing. Right? The entity is also engaged in obstruction of justice. Jose and Sons, they're not going to even survive civil prosecution. They're not. They're monitoring, and they also want to not hear me speak the truth while I'm documenting it. They'll be clear what this demon's doing. So I want to be clear, there is no sun that's over the Ovid Family Community Library, and over the Ovid Family Community Library from beginning of the day till the end of the day, that venue is also documented. There will never be any light activity here. There will never be any sun here, and you also know that because the entity is maintaining, again, hours from now, 5 hours from now, this light source is still here, visible through the window of that laundry room, visible through my bedroom window, engaging in what is the maintenance of engineered light. That's a demon that closes the door as I take a step right now. That's a demon. Satan doesn't have to talk to you, doesn't have to look at you. All right, you know them by the environment that they're in. There is no sunlight that's going to be on the ground directly or by hitting some other object, creating what is engineered light as well, while it's over the Ovid Family Community Library. And while demons engage in what that was stalking with audible activity. The moment I make a new movement with simultaneity to that, as soon as I lift up my foot and walk forward, that demon closes his door. That's the identification of a demon. All right, this is speaking to, again, more hard evidence as to what is irreducible and insurmountable direct evidence, the prima facie case of federal group stalking and monitoring, which is going against a government. The people of the state are not present, you have no constitutional basis, you have no legal right, you have no legally relevant argument. This is how a government is monitoring you, and it's terrorism while they do so. Because while I make a step forward in that demon without even batting an eye or looking at me is not coincidentally, but pursuant to a pattern, stalking that is following, that is simultaneously creating activity creation under the light source. That's a demon. They are also aware at the moment when I'm pulling my panties down. That's a sex offender. Understand that. That's what they don't want you to know. Okay? This is the P.O.C. It is currently 11:57 a.m. This is during daylight savings time, and this is in reference to what was documented in February of 2022 before daylight savings time. And you're seeing how it's absolutely irrelevant in the specific environment, and it's direct evidence against the people of the state. But like I said, the point has already been established when you have the demons that are LAPD providing an ongoing wealth of documentation to be presented against the people of the state. Because that is who they're present on behalf. This is a government that's engaging in satanic ritualistic targeting, and everything is accomplishing what is that monitoring system. You don't have any legal right to be present creating activity, because that's what that is. It's not landscaping. It's a demon that's stalking in the path and maliciously so. It's not living at a private residence. This is a demon that's obsessively stalking in relevant position on behalf of a government who is maintaining a specific environment. That's why you have light across my ceiling, which has nothing to do with the placement of the light source, which, by the way, remains for the duration of a day. And these are the same demons who like to molest with engineered light, sunlight, which is, again, not even going to be present when it's over Ovid Family Community Library. But while they have the light source, which is clearly not the sun, they're crossing path that is stalking as a group on behalf of the government and molesting my person with engineered light. That's what you saw Center for Better Life engaging in. I'm going to sue LA County as a sex offender, and they're going to be civilly and criminally prosecuted for that. And that actor, that Latino male, he's going into a mental institution. He's going to be mentally examined for that. The entity likes to engage in that method of terrorizing the target individual, touching them while they're stalking you. All right, this is P.O.C. Reference 215 East C Street, the Ovid Family Community Library, where I stated then, and I'm going to repeat now, Mr. Thrasher is going to federal prison for multiple acts of criminal summoning. Just like Stephanie Ortiz, she's going to federal prison for acts of criminal summoning. While the people of the state are monitoring you, they engage in ongoing acts of obstruction of justice. This is a scene out of hell right now. These demons are pacing around and monitoring me. This is P.O.C.